Thank you to Michaela for that beautiful rendition of our national anthem. Well, everything's set. Just about time to get started. For the first time this season in the Kent State University Ice Arena, it's about to be time for hockey, Chris.
Absolutely, and I am beside myself with excitement. The beginning of a new season is always one of the most exciting times of the year.
Well, starting lineups for the Flash is J.S. Florek, Jake Friedman, David Rankin, the top line that's out there. Brian Ostershell with Zach Barnes. Nick Beck starting in net. Max Nugent, Gary Sample, Liam Bland, Keegan Rundle for Lawrence Tech. Sixer banging on the boards. That means it's time for hockey. Sticks are down, puck is down, and we are underway. The home opener from the Kent State University Ice Arena. Puck gets elevated to center, and it's touched along there by Keegan Rundle. Stepping up to help out was Caden Hemme, the freshman defenseman for the Blue Devils. And this one can be spiked ahead by David Rankin. Swept away by Spencer Kroll, starting a net from South Carolina. Indianland, South Carolina. Senior, 5'6", a bit short for a goaltender, but they make do.
I've never heard of a goaltender under like 5'10", 5'11" these days. Usually the standard height for goaltenders is over 6 foot, so it'll be really interesting to see how big he can make himself in the net.
Face-off's gonna be the left of Kroll here. It'll be Hunter Hillebrecht stepping in to take it with Liam Bland. Hillebrecht wins it to the back, just goes past Kinsman. Center point, the shot that came from Herberg flutters up and into the mesh. We get our second stoppage.
It's a big early face-off when some of the Flashes really kind of struggled with as the season went on last year. It's hard to score if you don't have the puck. That's something we said a lot last season, and starting that is winning the face-off.
Gotta win those face-offs. Hillebrecht trying to take another one off the tie-up with Sean Pilot there. And now in behind, controlling it is George French. Jack Kinsman's able to take it away on the near corner. Kinsman battling for the puck down low. Zarecki able to work it back to the right point, held by Herberg. And now Kinsman will whack it in deeper. Down low, Hillebrecht, low to high. A shot that came from Zarecki was turned aside by Kroll. Zarecki works it back to the point. Drive from Herberg, deflects, goes wide. Trying to whack it in, bank shot in front. Great stop by Kroll again. And he's able to hang on to it. Good chance in tight for Jack Kinsman. And a good shift for that line for Kent State. Wholesale change coming here.
Yeah, and speaking of Kroll, as we just outlined a moment ago, looks alert, looks in the game, and he's 100% in with a save now. And it'll be interesting to see how much energy these Blue Devils keep up. This is their third game in as many days, something I don't think I've ever seen.
Tie up there with Mitch Gillespie. It's one away by Eric Podgorny for the Blue Devils. Tries to move it through center, but Kobe Greenberg comes along to knock it down. This one swept wide of the net. The right pad of Nick Beck kicked out to make the stop. Kyle Holmes, freshman defenseman, really solid opening weekend in Syracuse. High praise for the 18-year-old. How about that? He's playing with guys that are 10 years older than him. Backhand shot that came from Jacob Stowinski goes wide of Beck. Running a man over was Tommy Kilway. All the way back down it comes. Kroll trying to move things faster. Bunted along there by Lawrence Tech. Swept away by Zach Barnes. Back it comes for Podgorny. Podgorny through center. It hits the backside of Savay Thompson. There's a big check that came from Zach Barnes. Working his way with the puck now is Joey Gallo. Gallo was able to sashay by. It's tossed across now. Savay Thompson gets it deeper. Out of his net to play it was Kroll. Moves it along. Josiah Hickson tried to elevator it through center, but the play will be blown dead on what appears to be a hand pass.
And sparks are flying early here. That hit seems to have woken up Lawrence Tech a little bit. A lot of hits being thrown. ACHA is physical hockey, and we're already starting to see some of that early in this game.
J.S. Florek is able to win a tie-up, sent deep by Jake Friedman. He's knocked down, and it can be controlled in behind now. Hickson able to move it along for Blake Heyer. Beck out of his net to play it. Fakes one way, goes the other. Heyer is able to cut this one off, sends it toward the net. It hit the glove of Beck. Never really a threatening chance there. And now J.S. Florek battles it to a side in the far corner. Zach Barnes able to knock his man down. That's Hickson again. Barnes able to play it along. On the far side for Friedman, he's able to get it out as far as neutral ice. Another big hit that came from David Rankin. Brian Ostershell at center ice. Lets one go, blockered away by Krull to the near boards. Cycling his way around is Max Nguyen. Along it comes for Keegan Rundle. Rundle fires one into the glove of Nick Beck. He will melt it down. We get a stoppage, 16:47 to play in this first period. Kent State home opener.
High-octane start to this one, a lot of back and forth early on. Something we're starting to see a little bit of is Flash is making a lot of small errors in the defensive zone, a couple nasty turnovers here early. They struggled with that a little bit last season. Let's see if they clean that up here.
Ian Kuntz tries to move it in front. Nick Beck just shuts that down before it gets too dangerous.
And speaking of last year, not a lot of statistics available this season for these Lawrence Tech Blue Devils, but John Horn's the guy to watch out for on that side. 42 points last season.
I believe it was 22 goals, 20 assists for John Horn. An impressive year. Dropping back is Ian Kuntz to control this one. On his offside, hands it off to his partner. That's Bland. And elevated all the way down, and this will be an icing touched up on by Poswick. We get a stoppage, 16-17. Go in the first period.
Should clarify, of course, that John Horn is number 24 for the Blue Devils. For those of you that are Flashes fans and are looking for a little something to look forward to or look out for on the other side here.
An impressive lettuce on John Horn, too. How about
Absolutely.
the long, luscious blonde locks?
I haven't seen a flow like that in a long time, Gabe.
Liam Bland will take this face-off with Hunter Hillebrecht to the left of Spencer Krull. Lawrence Tech is able to win it and get it out as far as Nguyen, but held in at the line by Zarecki. Turned it right back over, though. George French tries to go off the boards, but Poswick took it away. Zach Zarecki. Two teams feeling each other out here early on. He drops it off to Kinsman. Tried to step by a man, but he could not. That was Sean Pilot that delivered the hit. Kinsman taken away again. It's Ian Kuntz. Going to use the boards to try and move it along. Pass that was intended for Pilot, and now it comes in to the slot area, and there was an opportunity for Hubenschmidt that was knocked down by Barnes. John Horn down low, working against Herberg. Hubenschmidt in front of the net. A chance, Beck to save the rebound, they score. And it looks to be waved off. So out of the fray, puck that ended up in the net.
From what was a wild save from Nick Beck. He got back. I'm not sure how he got back on that one. But Blue Devils swarming the net.
Might have caught a break there. I believe the net was off the moorings.
Lawrence Tech coaching staff not happy about that one.
So we'll stay scoreless. Ken Gaffney wants a word with the officials, and they're not going to listen. We know those arguments never tend to work, do they, Chris?
I'm yet to see one, but I'm holding out hope. Maybe one day.
Mitch Gillespie loses this draw. It comes back to Podgorny. Moved along. Hubenschmidt snaps one toward the net, and a save by Beck. The rebound for Horn. Backhand shot goes wide. Lawrence Tech suffocating the Flashes in the offensive zone now. Hubenschmidt. Gillespie with some good forecheck. Zach Henry is able to knock his man down. Donovan Palmer in down low against Horn. Spins away from the pressure and looks. Drops it down low for Hubenschmidt. He's pressured by Palmer. Back to the point and finds Podgorny. Point to point. Good play made there by Kobe Greenberg, and he's loose. Greenberg with speed. Couldn't quite get around Jacob Stawinski. Back this one comes in an awkward bounce. It took on Beck right there. Both teams changed behind the play. Kilway tried to just move it between the wickets. Could not do so. And in deeper, this one comes. Garrett Sample drops back to control it for the Blue Devils. 14 and a half to go. Getting settled in here at the Kent State home opener. Lawrence Tech in town to take on the Golden Flashes, and this is an icing. Zach Barnes wins the foot race.
Well, early on, there's absolutely no question about the energy of Lawrence Tech, as they've been all over Kent State here. Giving him a lot of space in front of Nick Beck. He's really having to work to keep it out of there, and they're just giving him all the real estate in the slot area.
Joey Gallo will settle in for a draw here to the left of Krull with McGowan. Back it comes to Ostershell. A shot never got to the net. Touch back to Barnes. Barnes fires through traffic. It hit the skate of Savay Thompson. Tough angle shot. It's stopped by Kroll. And a stoppage. 14-18 to go. Not a bad idea to throw it on net. Never has been.
Yeah, and this game might just kind of slow down as it moves along. A lot of chippiness. We're only about 6 minutes into the game here, and we've had plenty of stoppages and lots of bodies flying.
J.S. Floric is going to settle in for a draw here against Blake Heyer.
Looks like a broken stick came out of that. They're waiting on him to get it to the bench there.
Broken stick that belongs to Joey Gallo. Get that replaced. Floric off the tie-up. Coming in to help out is Zach Barnes. Whacked out of the air. Floric pressuring Heyer now down low. Floric tried to throw it in front. Heyer just cut that off, and Friedman took it right away. Friedman, far corner, now it's Floric. One-on-one, he battles with French. And now it is Heyer again. Heyer with a saucer pass through center for Hickson. 2-on-2, the Devils move in. Flashes one at an offside snapshot on net. Caught by Nick Beck. 13:50 to go. Still no score.
All of the stoppages, but still lots of back and forth. Seems to have opened up a little more again since that move by Kobe Greenberg to get him out of the defensive end. That was probably a goal-saving play right there. Just based on the amount of pressure that the Blue Devils were putting on the Flashes in their own defensive end.
Bland and Hillebrecht to the right of Beck. Hillebrecht wins it cleanly. He's 3 for 3 on draws here early. Jack Kinsman tosses this one along. Hillebrecht tried to move it to Zarecki. Led the Flashes in goals last year. This one tossed through center all the way down. Poswick races down to touch up. We have another icing on Lawrence Tech.
We talked about goal scoring last season with Flashes. How about the start to this season for some of the rookies? David Rankin currently is leading the team with his hat trick on opening night. That's pretty much the best audition you could ever put forward coming into your first game.
Absolutely. Think about great performances, great debuts. You think about Austin Matthews, Derek Stepan, both guys that had hat tricks in their debuts.
Yeah, and look at where they are now. They're still kicking around. I mean, Austin Matthews, one of the biggest name players in the league.
Meanwhile, here in Kent, Ohio, at the right point, the shot that came from Jacob Herberg was knocked down. Icing's waved off here as galloping in is Nugent. He's tied up by Poswick. Good play. From behind, no penalty. Did it cleanly. Jake Herberg sauces this one along for Kinsman. Kinsman elevators it across. Zarecki now battling down low. Zarecki's going to win this puck. Uses the backhand to move it along to Kinsman. Tried to toss it in front. It flutters back toward the point. Knocked down by Hubenschmidt. And back it finds Zach Henry. And in deep is Garrett Sample. Sample tossing one ahead. Was looking to get a quick rush going for the Blue Devils, but could not. Kyle Holmes takes a hit to make a play. Ahead it comes to Greenberg, who just bunts it in. Controlled down low, and now John Horn on the near side. Using the glass to elevator it ahead, and an odd man rush the other way for the Blue Devils. Pass across, knocked away by Kyle Holmes. 2-on-1 played very well by the freshman. Kuntz at the point. Tried to move it in for Horn. Now Sean Pilot has it in the near corner, pressured by Gillespie. Horn tried to work his way to the net. Stuff attempt wouldn't go. It squirts back loose behind the net. Greenberg tries to move his way around Hubenschmidt, but could not. Delivering a check to him there was Kyle Holmes. It works back toward the front of the net. Beck holding his post, and along it comes for Greenberg. They look for the breakout. Potential odd man rush the other way. Gillespie moving in. Here's the shot that came from Kilway. Snared by Kroll, and a whistle and a stoppage.
Yeah, long defensive shift there for the Flashes. Probably not much doing there, moving it back up the point. You can see Kobe Greenberg was immediately headed to the bench after that one. So maybe a good decision, just put it on net, let him hold it, and then get a fresh set of guys in the offensive zone for a chance to create something here.
Absolutely. Tie up here between Gallo and McGowan. Meanwhile, the other way comes Brandon Priest. Priest was offside at the line, and that will be whistled dead. 11:29 to go in the first period. Still no score. In the Kent State Ice Arena, Gabe Kalura, Chris Hodson. Happy to be back with you, folks.
Absolutely brand new season. Anything could happen. Flash is looking to build off their momentum last season with their playoff appearance.
Of course, down to just 7 teams in the CHMA now with the promotion of Pittsburgh. Stowinski moves this one along, and it hits, for the first time this season, the ceiling. Kent State University Ice Arena.
Those are low ceilings
They
here.
are quite low ceilings here at the Kent State Ice Arena if you haven't been here before.
But how about that hit to pressure him to kind of try to move it quickly and create a mistake like that?
Good defensive pressure given there. Joey Gallo's able to win this faceoff. It just gets around Zach Barnes, who takes a peek, takes a hit. Osterschell along and hits Savay Thompson awkwardly off the boards, but it bounces its way to Barnes, and he leads the charge ahead. Gains the red line, dumps it in. Kyle Baxton in there looking for his first touch. Spencer Kroll shoveled it along, pinching up now is Savay Thompson. Held by Gallo in the slot. Works it to Baxton. Baxton was tied up. Delivers a nice check there to McGowan, but McGowan does get it out. Osterschell trying to move it along and hit the skates of Savay Thompson. And he'll change. Big hit there on Jacob Herberg.
That one might have been able to have been a penalty. It was kind of behind the play, just decked a man.
Still no penalties have been assessed in this one. Sent in by Caden Hemme. Back is Osterschell, tried to play it along for Friedman.
Another big hit on the boards behind the net.
Not for the faint of heart, ACHA hockey never has been. Physical game, these guys love to hit. Wheeling one back down low. Cole Theron, chance in front. Beck might have gotten a piece of that, tried to shrug it off with the left shoulder. Here's a quick shot, hit the right pillow of Beck, kicked it out. Now David Rankin in the corner. Gets it along, Friedman tried to deliver the check, Sample cut that off, and now it is Herberg on the near side. Tipped in by Rankin, he took a hit to make a play. Flashes will be able to change behind it. Hemme. And hit the skate of the official. Flashes catch a little bit of a break there. Stepping up as Poswick soccered it along, and an odd man rush the other way. 2-on-1. Curl and drag. Kinsman in front for Zarecki. He's knocked down. Couldn't get a good shot on the net. Back it comes for Kinsman, who falls back to the neutral zone. Uses the boards, was trying to play one along for Poswick, who was falling back to his defensive position. Zach Henry down to help out, and now it's Mitch Poswick controlling it in the high slot. Taken to the boards by Bland. Hillebrecht will play it ahead for Henry, and now it's Zarecki again. Zarecki snaps one across. Pass wasn't intended for Kinsman, but he did nudge it along. Kinsman again. Spins away from a check. Works his way off the boards. Lets one go. Kroll makes the save. That one splits the defense and comes all the way down, and it will be an icing.
Well, we talk about hitting, continuing to ramp up here. You'd think that the Flashes would be kind of trying to build some momentum and their physical play off of the energy of the home crowd here, but if I'm not mistaken, it kind of feels like the wind has been taken out of the building with that goal earlier that was called off, and it doesn't seem to have come back since then.
It's still just a lot of trying to find space, and there is not much there. This one gets by Kyle Holmes all the way down. Donovan Palmer. Two first-year players on this team playing on a pair together. They were both really solid in New York last weekend. Kilway holds it on the near side, elevators it across, looking for Greenberg, just bounced over his stick. Racing back is Stowinski. Greenberg worked it in front. It's knocked out of the air there by Horn. Couldn't quite hold the line, and now a 2-on-1 the other way for Lawrence Tech. Quick shot, they score! Sean Pilot soaring down the left wing. Let a sizzler go over the blocker of Beck, and this one will count. Lawrence Tech draws first blood. It's 1-0.
Yeah, and this all starts just from some kind of indecisive play from the Flashes. Couldn't decide if they really wanted to pinch, play aggressive, or back up, and they ended up with a man behind.
Those odd man rush scenarios that you see, just a really unfortunate bounce. Blake Heyer taking this draw with Joey Gallo at center, following the goal. Spencer Kroll now in behind. Waving at him was Baxton. Thompson sends it toward the net. Kroll cleans that one up. Baxton again. Baxton on the near side. He has Barnes back door. Couldn't get it to him. And now Lawrence Tech can race the other way. It's another odd man rush. And it's offside at the line.
A little too clean on that entry.
Josh Hickson was racing in. Would have had a clean look at Beck. But it is blown dead on an offside.
Lots of chirping here behind the play, a lot of stick poking.
It's Eric Podgorny mixing it up with Brian Ostershell. Quite the size difference there.
Well, interesting, they just dropped the puck with an extra man on the ice for Lawrence Tech.
So Nate Thompson took a hit. It's Blake Heyer. Tough angle shot. It hit the outside of the net. Didn't look like Beck expected him to let the shot go. Here's Hickson. Hemi opens up for a one-timer. Doesn't get the puck, though. Joey Gallo is able to knock it away at neutral ice and send it as far as center. Sample sends it up, and guess what? Ceiling again.
Well, you know, Gabe, we do have low ceilings here at the Kent State University Ice Arena. If you were here last year, you probably know fully well how low the ceilings are here.
They are freakishly low, too, aren't they?
Well, they kind of curve down on each end, too, so when you're on the offensive end, when there's more, the deflections, they just hit the ceiling even more than normal.
J.S. Florick takes this draw with the goal scorer, Sean Pilot. Glove down by Beck. He'll leave it behind for Herberg. Pilot takes Herberg to the wall and wins the puck back. Near corner battle now. Pilot shoved by Poswick. He goes down. Chance in front for Horn. Diving across was Beck. He might have gotten a piece of it. Beck lost his stick. He's got Jacob Herberg's right now. And he'll pick that goaltender paddle back up.
I think that might have been Herberg's stick that stopped that one from going. He was in the right place at the right time. Dangerous pass.
Herberg gets double teamed there. Hubin Schmidt was in there down low with Pilot. Herberg controls it again, but he lost it. Pilot in front for Horn. Backhand shot. Deflects and goes wide. Chance in front. Beck stumbling. Horn's got it again. To the right point. The shot that came from French. Glove down by Beck and a stoppage, much needed stoppage at that. 1-0 Blue Devils, 6.5 to go in the first period.
Yeah, those are the big guns again for Lawrence Tech. You can always tell when John Horn's on the ice, if anything, just for the insane flow, but the high skill play. Flash is really kind of hanging their goalie out to dry here early on.
Defensive play has been a little loose, to say the least. Hillebrek trying to move it along for Zarecki, who's held at the line, dumping it in. Hollister had an opportunity at it. Holmes takes a shove, and now it is Zach Zarecki. Zarecki along for Kinsman. Kinsman one on everyone, trying to move his way into the zone. Could not. He was denied entry there by George French. Holmes along for Kinsman. Pass wasn't in the wheelhouse, so we'll fall back again. Donovan Palmer using the boards to move this one along for Hillebrek. Makes one nice move to get around a man who flew into the boards. That was Keegan Rundle, who was looking for contact. Zarecki with a curl and drag. Couldn't get his way around Podgorny. Rundle across, looking for Nugan. But Kinsman now. Kinsman nearly turned the puck over. Flash is trying to get it out of the zone, and they cannot. Here's a quick shot that came from Bland, and it went wide of the glove side. Stawinski steps up. Bland again. Held in the near corner here by Lawrence Tech. Doing really good work in the offensive end. Quick shot by Bland is deflected up and into the mesh. 5:06 to go.
And Flashes are getting suffocated in pretty much every facet here. Spent probably, I want to say, almost like 70% of this first period in their own zone, just having a lot of difficulties breaking out and getting into the offensive zone. And even when they do, it seems like a one-man army versus the entire Lawrence Tech defense.
Barnes fanned on the clearing attempt, but Garrett Sample equally fanned on the play to keep it into the zone. And he was a bit overzealous trying to step into the zone onside. Out of all the fray, this play is onside. And now in the near corner, Barnes takes his shove. Ostershell moves in to help out, gets it along to Kilway. Held at the line again, though, by Hemi. Drop back down low. Big power forward, Cole Theron trying to work it back to Sample. Chipped out of there by Greenberg, and now racing ahead is Kilway. And that's up and into the mesh.
One of the things I'm noticing early that is a positive is Kobe Greenberg's defensive play. He's made a couple of smart decisions and smart moves in the defensive zone, which is something I don't think we saw a lot of last year. He was very overzealous to get out of the zone and get on his horse, whereas I'm seeing a lot of smarter plays to try to get his team out of the zone with him here early in this game.
He's making the right plays with his stick. Certainly improved as a two-way forward. We know about the speed. That's something he's always had. French tried to move it into the zone, but Herberg cut him off. Thompson trying to move it along, but it's knocked down by Horn. Flashes still can't escape. It's Horn. He steps by Herberg. Horn dips the shoulder, lets it go. Try to go short side, and Beck got it with the blocker. Hubenschmidt back down low. Big guns back out there. Point shot that came from Sample knockdown. Hubenschmidt with a shot. Swallowed by Beck. 4:01 to go in the first.
It is not hard to tell when the big boys on the ice for Lawrence Tech, as they are everywhere. They are relentless. They are smothering the puck. Flashes need to find a way to kind of counter this if they want any hope of staying in this game.
John Horn will settle in for a draw with J.S. Florick. Horn won it off the draw and tried to let it go quickly. Alert save by Beck, and now David Rankin races ahead. He's got some room. David Rankin protecting that puck on the backhand. Whips one toward the net. Nobody was home back door. Friedman near side. He fires one toward the net. Kicked out by the right pad of Kroll. Holmes trying to hold the line. Could not. Hubenschmidt was able to get it out. Whistle goes, and we have a penalty.
Took a hook.
Hooking is the call, and it's going to go against,
I believe it's
Lawrence Tech, I think, yes. Sean Pilot, the goal scorer, will head to the box. So he's on the score sheet all kinds of ways.
And it's time to talk about this Kent State Golden Flash's power play, which up to this point this season, their first two games, not so hot. They were really good last year early on. So far this season, 0 for 8. 0 power play goals thus far this season.
8 power plays that weekend against Syracuse. Didn't score on a single one. Although they were moving the puck nicely, just weren't getting quality opportunities. Something that needs to change. We want to score on these man advantages, quite obviously. Kroll's got that in his glove.
Yeah, he was just keeping it away. That was an interesting move.
Flash is taking exception to that, and rightfully so.
It's kind of like the equivalent of traveling in basketball. You can tell it's my first game of the season.
We're glad to have you back, Chris. Traveling in baseball. It's real.
You'd think I know I was at a baseball game last night.
Quality game with the Guardians and Royals.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that game, Gabe. Still some discussions going on here.
We love our deliberations here in the ACHA.
Well, one thing we can say at the lack of power play scoring and things so far, it's pretty evident early on that the Flashers are still kind of, learning their new team setup and the new roles. And it doesn't seem like that chemistry is really developed yet. A lot of miscommunications and things of the like. So we'll see if they can kind of bring it together here. This is a good opportunity to get back into this game. Reminder, it is only a one-goal game. And the fans have the horn out.
They're blowing right into the Lawrence Tech bench. And we will have another penalty here. 5-on-3, the Flashes will play. Delay a game against Spencer Kroll.
Right call in my completely unbiased opinion.
So now it's really time to try and get something going. Tommy Kilway dips the shoulder down the left wing, throws it in front. Chance for Gillespie was knocked down. Racing ahead now. It's a foot race between Ostershell and Heyer here. Heyer won the race. He's doing work down low all alone. Kilway stepped into him in a big way. They're pushing and shoving behind the play. Don't want to take another penalty here. Ostershell leads the charge. Hands it off to Rankin. Rankin to Ostershell. Down low. Backhand try was stopped by Kroll. And he locates it. Melts it down. Goaltender has to be your best penalty killer. Spencer Kroll has been up to the task so far.
Yeah, well, how about that play to move the puck down the ice and just burn time behind the Flash's net, and then on top of that, working to try to maybe draw a penalty. Luckily, the Flashes didn't bite too hard on that.
Hillebrecht wins the draw. Back it comes to Poswick. Number 1 unit's out there now. Poswick to Friedman. Surveys, lets it go. Blockered away by Kroll. Hillebrecht couldn't control it. Kinsman could. Now a battle for it on the half wall. Zarecki lost it. Racing the other way now is Cole Theron. Theron hit hard by Poswick. And that will be a penalty. He got the numbers. from behind, so we'll play 4-on-3 now.
Yeah, that one was pretty close, but it looks like he did catch the numbers. Lawrence Tech bench not appreciative of that at all.
Mitchell Poswick appears to be getting 2 for boarding here. So we'll play 29 seconds of 4-on-3, then 20 more seconds of 4-on-4.
That's really not what you want to do when you're just starting to get some momentum back and you've got an advantage to just give it right back.
Not a good penalty to take.
Now in 4-on-3, lots of space on the ice here.
Probably want to get your speedsters out here if possible, and they'll be able to break away with an instant odd man rush. Hillebrecht lost the puck. Looks like some snow buildup was the cause of that one. Flashes do get it back though. Kinsman moves it along to Zarecki. Zarecki with a quick shot blocked, and it gets by Kinsman and all the way down. So that should spell the end of this Kent State power play, which will drop to 0 for 9 on the year now. Kinsman couldn't step by Hemme. Herberg was there to help him out. Now Hemme will send it down. This will not be icing. Just under a minute and a half to go. Here's Horn with a shot that's deflected up and into the mesh by Zarecki, or by Barnes, I beg your pardon. Into the mesh.
Yeah, only 5 seconds left here, and then Lawrence Tech is going to be on the power play for about 1:11.
So
Kent State penalty kill this season is 1 for 9, 88%.
Ostershell couldn't get it out, and now this will be a power play for Lawrence Tech. Pilot to Horn. Thrown down low for Bland. Bland button hooks back, gives it to Pilot. Winds and fires. Sliding save made by Beck. Horn is able to move it along again for Bland. Back down low, Hemme. Low to high, it finds Pilot. Across to Horn, one-time shot, blocked. Swept away by Barnes, but just as far as Horn. Pilot spinning, gives it back to Hemme. Hemme on the far side, from the circle, and lets a shot go. Blocked away again. Horn. Quick pass across. Hemme with a shot, stopped by Beck. The rebound in front, whacked wide. Kinsman trying to get it out. 39 seconds to play in the first. Cole Theron out there. Now it's John Horn again. Horn knocked away by Barnes, and he gets the clear. A big one at that.
Yeah, Flash's penalty kill so far, keeping him to the outside, which is exactly what you want to see.
Fire wagon changed by the Flashes here. Holmes took it away. Holmes is hooked down. It's offside, delayed. Holmes can just hang on to it now. 12 seconds to go. This power play is going to expire. Door wouldn't open on Poswick there.
And they seem pretty content just to burn the last 5 seconds here, and they will.
Lawrence Tech will just hang on. So, 20 minutes have come and gone. Got a first look at special teams here in the home opener. Nick Beck surrenders just one in what was a relentless attack that probably could have been a lot worse. 1-0 at the end of one. First intermission starts now. Period 2 just about set to get underway here. About 30 seconds to puck drop. We just saw the Kent State figure skating team take the ice. A lot of fun. Always a great performance when we get the other clubs involved here at the ice arena. No carryover penalties nor power plays. Gabe Kalura, Chris Hodson, 1-0 lead for Lawrence Tech on the goal by Sean Pilot. What do the Flashes have to do better here in this second period, Chris?
A little bit of everything. They pretty much got suffocated in every aspect of play last period. I want to see them try to turn around, make smarter defensive plays, and just be a lot cleaner with their puck movement. Seems like there's a lot of lack of chemistry, really, and a lot of miscommunications between players when it comes to breaking out of the zone. I'd like to see them clean that up a bit here.
It sure does seem like on the offensive side of things, they're really struggling to find that chemistry. Gonna have to find that. Gonna need to score goals to win. That's typically the name of the game.
Got to get the crowd back into it. We got a pretty packed house here for the first game, and they've been all but quiet since Lawrence Tech originally got on the board with that disallowed goal at the beginning of the first.
So, as we said, no carryover penalties nor power plays. 20 minutes on the clock. Second period. Just about set to get underway. J.S. Florick, David Rankin, Jake Friedman take the ice. First again, Sean Pilot, John Horn, and Justin Hubenschmidt. Period 2 is underway from Kent, Ohio. Brian Ostershell. Period of the long change here is period number 2. That change gets a little bit harder. Goaltenders have switched sides. Rankin took a shove in the corner and elevated off the glass and all the way down. Icing's going to be waved off as Ostershell chases this back. Fakes one way, tries to go the other, but Hubenschmidt controls it off the turnover. Hubenschmidt works it in front. Opportunity kicked away by Beck. Now moving right to left is David Rankin. Rankin got by, shot one, and it's blocked. Looked like Rankin worked his way around the defense, and now he needs a change. Sent down on net. Spencer Kroll kneeling down. He'll play it along. Sample snaps one ahead. Touched along by Nixon. Curl and drag attempt there by Heyer, and he did get around his man. Heyer moves it down low. Theron. Sweeping in was Hunter Hillebrecht. And now it is Jake Herberg behind his own net. Tries to use that backhand to get it out of the zone. It's cut off by Nixon. Heyer again. Spinning. Work this one right back in deep. Theron. Theron on the near wall. Couldn't get around Kinsman, and now it's 1-on-1. 2-on-1 the other way. Kinsman and Zarecki. The pass across Zarecki. Scores! It was a 2-on-1 with Jack Kinsman and Zach Zarecki. And the give and go, short side snipe. Z's got his second of the year. It's tied at 1.
And that's exactly what they needed coming at it for the second period. Get some energy back in the building, try to get one back quick. Couldn't ask for much more there to start off.
The energy is back in the building, Chris. And Pump It Up is back in the building.
You love to see it.
Kilway moves it along. The Kent State goal from Zach Zarecki. They get a fortunate bounce. They've been looking for that all day long. Meanwhile, it's Kilway. Elevates it in on the backhand. Dropping back is Podgorny. Taking a run at him was Gillespie. And then Kilway again. That one into the Lawrence Tech bench as Max Nugent was trying to move forward. 1-1.
Yeah, lucky for the Flash that one careened into the bench there, as they would have had a man all alone behind the defense, which is really not what you want coming off of a goal. And you know, they always say the most dangerous shift is the one coming directly after you score.
And now Podgorny is chirping with the Kent State bench. Him and Brian Ostershell have been going at it all day long so far. This game's starting to get a little bit chippy.
Yeah, not even just Ostershell, but it was pretty much everybody. You know, if there's a person there in white with a K, he's got something to say.
Pretty good rhyme there, Chris.
I try, Gabe.
Holmes is able to move this one along. Baxton couldn't get out of the zone. Falling back now is Savay Thompson. Jack Kinsman draws the lone assist on the Zarecki goal. In tight was Lawrence Tech. It works back out to Sample. Quick shot goes wide at Beck. Dominic Hollister is there. Hemi tries to fire it in. Could not. Holmes knocked it down. Good shift following the goal here from Lawrence Tech, but now motoring ahead is Savay Thompson. Gains the red line, dumps it in. Spencer Kroll out to play it. Baxton tried to crash in. Quick shot came from the point, and another shot let go by Baxton in the high slot was blocked. Kilway delivering 2 big hits in the defense, or in the offensive zone rather. And this one gets by Ostershell. He'll drop back to neutral ice. Ostershell gains the red line, snaps it in. Kroll cuts it off right behind the net. Hubenschmidt tries to move it along. Icing is going to be waved off. Beck will leave it behind for Barnes. Barnes with a turnover. It's Horn now on the far side. Horn twirling, looked to get it back to the point. Nobody was home. Spencer Kroll out of his net to play it. 16:40 to go in period number 2. Scores 1-1. Goals belong to Sean Pilot and Zach Zarecki. Now moving ahead are the Blue Devils again. Quick shot, blockered away by Beck. The shot that came from Hubenschmidt down the right wing. Now they battle for it on the far side half wall, right near the Lawrence Tech bench. And now breaking free on another 2-on-1 is Zarecki. Zarecki fires, and it's blockered away by Kroll. Taking a hit from behind, and a penalty will come from this. So, the power play will get another chance with 16:12 to go in the second.
The plot thickens, and that's probably the best shift we've seen the Flashes take against the big guns for Lawrence Tech. That energy in the building definitely seems to be making a difference here early in the second.
Another odd man rush for the Flashes. This time it was Zarecki and Greenberg. It's tough to think of 2 guys you'd rather have moving in on an odd man rush than those couple guys.
Yeah, and Zarecki's really shown some wheels here in the second already, especially with that goal earlier, coming from behind. Really on his horse for that one.
Mitch Poswick sends it toward the net. Waving at it was Hillebrecht. He couldn't deflect it. Zarecki holding, twirls. Right at the circle, Kinsman, they play catch. Zarecki is hauled down, no call. And now racing the other way is Lawrence Tech. Beck with a risky play to come out and try and shovel it along. Sample with a shot caught by Beck and held on to. Looked like a penalty might have been missed right over there.
Yeah, and it gave Lawrence Tech immediately a 3-on-1 that then turned into a 3-on-2. Aggressive play by Beck, but you really think he had to do something there. He had 3 guys bearing down on him at full speed. Defense behind him. That might have been the move that saved the goal.
Draw here between Gillespie and Nugent. And now Lawrence Tech controls the puck. David Rankin with a knockdown behind. He lost his stick. Battle for it, 2 aside on the half wall. Flash is just trying to win this puck back, and they do. Ostershell, and they'll try and get something started on the man advantage. Rankin ahead for Kilway. They play catch. The handoff, here comes Rankin. Drops it off to Barnes, snapped across for Gillespie. Couldn't shovel it toward the net. Knocked away by Theron, and all the way down it comes. Nugent scooting in one-on-one with Ostershell. Cuts inside. Getting a stick on it was Ostershell up and into the mesh.
Great move by Ostershell to get his stick back in that lane just in time for the shot.
Played very well by the freshman defenseman. Played his junior hockey for the Columbus Mavericks.
I'm saying his name a lot already this afternoon. Here in a rare matinee game against the University Ice Arena.
2:40 p.m. puck drop. Didn't see too many of those last year, did we?
I don't think we saw really any of them. Maybe one. And on a Sunday, no less.
Oh, yeah. Homecoming Sunday as well. 50 seconds to go on this man advantage. This is Zach Zarecki, the goal scorer. Zarecki sends it ahead, soccered along by Hillebrecht. He delivers a check. Holding the line is Kinsman, right at that half wall. Podgorny trying to get it out, could not. It's held there by Poswick. Tried to go between the wickets of Higher, and he did, but it just escapes the zone. Poswick cuts inside, he's knocked down, and now onside play, racing in with a shot that's stopped by Beck, the opportunity that came from Brendan Priest. And he'll hang on.
Yeah, it was a weird play with a great defensive recovery with the pickup on him, and back with another great save, but that's nothing new.
He's been standing on his head to start this season, despite allowing 5 goals in the second game against Syracuse.
Been standing on his head for a calendar year now.
Faced around over 60 shots that weekend. Gallo is able to move it ahead. Potential 2-on-1 here. Backs it across. Thompson! Oh, a sliding save by Krull. Spencer Krull got the push from post to post. But another odd man rush for the Flashes. Oh, and glove down by Gallo, and they're going to say he closed his hand on it. So the faceoff will be here in neutral ice.
Well, we haven't had to say Krull's name too much tonight, / this afternoon. And, well, that was no save has been bigger than that one. And if you had any doubts about him, we talked about him being sort of smaller in size compared to the normal goalie size, about 6 foot nowadays. Those questions are gone now.
It's a really good chance for Savay Thompson to get his first collegiate goal. This puck works its way back into the Kent State end. Using the backhand to play it along, taking a hit to make a play was Donovan Palmer. John Horn takes this one away for Lawrence Tech. In to help out was Thompson. Continues his strong shift. Kyle Baxton now. Tried to move it along for Zach Henry twice, and he was denied twice. Sample, tossing one toward the front. Hit a skate, directs to the far corner. Horn, spinning with the backhand, gets it down low. Pilot in a battle with Henry. Henry touched it along, but nobody was home. Cycling back now is Huberschmidt. Gives it along for Pilot, and now Horn again. Horn wheels it to the front, was looking for Pilot, didn't get clean wood on it. The drive comes from the point from Podgorny. Puck's loose in a fray of bodies, and now racing ahead with the puck is Baxton. Snaps it just over the net, needed a change. Took a bad bounce, and now that change might have been a dangerous one. Thrown in front, good rush the other way for Lawrence Tech, but weren't able to get anything on net. Beck sweeps this one up and into the mesh after the opportunity was thrown to the net from the corner from Theron.
Yeah, the Horn Pilot Huberschmidt line looking dangerous once again. Horn probably wants that pass back. He had wide open net in front of him.
Yes, he did.
The puck jumped on him at the last second. Couldn't get everything wanted on it. Beck just patted the post there. Probably giving his thank yous to his net, as goalies do.
They all do it, don't they?
They do. They do love their posts.
Referee's checking on those posts too over there. Well, this one will be to the right of back.
Everybody loves the post.
Everybody does. How can you not? Tossed in front. Good opportunity there for the Blue Devils, and another one, and Beck sliding to gobble that one up.
You know, Gabe, I think there's a lot of goal scorers that would disagree with your statement of everyone loving posts.
Yeah.
Just a few.
Yeah, you're right. Good point. We're still trying to get back in the swing of things, guys. This is the home opener for us, too. That shot stopped by Beck.
Yeah,
and hung on to.
You were curious. He did lose his stick there. A little extracurricular in front of him.
I'm looking at you trying to remember famous post hits in NHL history, and that's just such a random thing. Can't think of it off the top of my head.
I don't know if there's anybody that has more of like a post hitting percentage. Is that a stat they track in the NHL? Your post percentage?
It's a good question, because post hits don't count as shots on goal,
right, so
which doesn't make much sense,
yeah, they
does
don't
it?
get recorded as player stats.
Yeah,
it's not a shot on goal.
Well, we're in our own little world, so let's go back to Kent, Ohio here. Poswick trying to send one along on the far side. It was knocked down, and Gillespie cleans it up. Sends it along. That was Jack Kinsman, I beg your pardon, it's Tommy Kilway. Nudged ahead. Herberg took a big hit to make a play. Podgorny just able to sweep it away. That puck's still in the zone here. Onside play, Poswick spins away from a check from Bland. Now racing ahead is Kilway. Kilway with a shot, just went wide. Did a good job to get that backhand to forehand to get that chip shot away. Poswick tried to slide a puck by a flying in man, trying to deliver a check to him. That man was Keegan Rundle. Gillespie able to move this one along for Poswick, sends it in deeper. Krull gonna touch this one along. Podgorny elevates. Racing after it was Rundle. He won't be able to get there. Zarecki on the quick up. Taken away by Stawinski. Sent in by the Blue Devils. On the far corner, it's Poswick. Trying to play it along. It was in the skates of Donovan Palmer. Nugan in there. And now Dominic Hollister for Lawrence Tech. Taking a push there was Bland. Back to the point for Sample. Knocked down, racing ahead. Here come the flashes. Potential odd man rush. Couldn't be handled. Kinsman tried to win the foot race. Spencer Kroll alertly plays it along with the paddle. That would have been a great chance for Jack Kinsman.
It's a great move for Kroll to get out there and get in front of that one.
Hillebrecht forces a turnover. This is Kinsman. Looking for space. Cuts back. Hands it along for Zarecki. Zarecki works it back to the point for Holmes. Point to point, tried to get it to Barnes. And that went into the Kent State bench. Just past, quite literally just past the head of Alex Toth.
Missed his nose by about a half an inch there.
Probably felt the wind of that one going by.
Well, some we're starting to see here as we move along is some zone possession time for the Kent State Golden Flashes. What we saw almost nothing of in the first period. Game's starting to even out a little bit here, Gabe.
Really is. You felt that ice tilt in Lawrence Tech's favor in the first period, and now it does feel a little bit more even. Knifing in are the Blue Devils. An opportunity and a great reactionary save by Beck with the blocker. Savade Thompson chips it around. Brian Ostershell, the defenseman, leading the charge. Ostershell protecting the puck. Backhands it just wide. Kroll stopped it. It would have found Baxton, who could have had a good opportunity. Thompson tries to work it back door. Nobody's home. Gallo holds the line a couple times. Now it is Baxton at center. Brian Ostershell takes a look. Under 10 minutes to play in the second. 1-1 the score. David Rankin racing in. Rankin a shot! And a glove save coming way out to cut the angle down was Kroll. Rankin's going to be the first one of this loose puck. He's shoved into the boards. Oh, and Friedman delivers a check as well. Glove down by Herberg, but he couldn't hold it in. Snapped along.
Blue Devils need a change here.
Snapped along by Nugan. And the big boys are out now. Here's Stawinski. That's taken by J.S. Florick. Florick tried to move it ahead. It's cut off by Hemme. And this is delayed offside, so Lawrence Tech will have to touch up here. Jake Friedman with a huge hit on the other end that awoke this crowd again. Nick Beck played it along. Nobody was home as John Horn took it away. Leading scorer. Chance for Pilot. Kicked out by Beck. Ooh, that's a sneaky great save.
That thing was a missile, and then he had absolutely no time to react to it. Somebody got the pad down in front of it.
Underrated save from Nick Beck there.
Yeah, and guess who's on the ice for that one once again? Seems like every time that horn line is out, they are dangerous. And they've been out here a lot.
Face-off between Pilot and Hillebrecht was won by Hillebrecht, but the line you mentioned was able to get the puck back. But now it's Hillebrecht leading a charge ahead. 3-on-3, they break in. Hillebrecht's able to slip by, tried to work it into the slot for Kinsman. Turning shot by Kinsman was swept away by the paddle of Spencer Kroll.
What an effort in front of the net.
Good opportunity. This one gets around Palmer. He'll have to fall back. Palmer turns it over. Hubenschmidt steps by, tosses it toward the front in the high slot area. Good opportunity there again for Lawrence Tech, and now a man knocked down. Nets off the moorings.
Lawrence Tech bench doesn't like it, but it looked like a man just lost his balance and went hard into the post. Hopefully he's okay. It looked like he might have hit his head on the post, so hopefully he's not feeling the effects of that one.
This is a really good Lawrence Tech team, Chris, and it's a team that Kent State's playing pretty well here through the first 30 minutes or so.
Absolutely. I mean, for the first period, when you weren't so sure, kind of looks a little rough, but they've kind of evened it out here, and they're sticking with it. Now, it is important to mention, of course, that Lawrence Tech, this is their third game in 3 days, so it was kind of a question as how they're going to keep the energy up through the entirety of the game.
Kobe Greenberg was trying to race ahead, use that speed to single-handedly create an opportunity, which we saw so many times last year. This is Gillespie. Barnes is there as well. Getting his stick involved was Beck, and a drive that came from higher. Sliding block by Herberg, and he's down. Meanwhile, Greenberg tossed it across looking for Kilway. That's Ostershell, I beg your pardon. Ostershell laboring as he heads to the bench. So
and he's been a big part of the Kent State defense this afternoon.
Absolutely, would be a pretty devastating loss. Working in now is Lawrence Tech, a shot that came from Cole Therian. Went wide. Higher, they change behind the play. Slid across for Stawinski. Barnes takes a cross check from behind. And ahead is Greenberg. Touches it along to Kilway. Tommy Kilway, the energy in the building is still getting up. Kilway goes down. This one sent through center and knocked down by the head of Herberg. How about that? Gallo gets tripped. No penalty. Starting to take some liberties, both these teams. Spiked a long Kroll way out of his net to play it. Kyle Baxton was in a foot race with him there. And it is Herberg. Along for Gallo. Gallo couldn't step around a man, but Poswick was able to help him out. They're right at center ice. On the near wall. To his side, they battle for it. Poswick steps in. Along this one comes for Bland. Bland steps in toward the high slot. Opportunity for Pilot denied by Beck.
A little more exception behind the play.
And now Gallo goes down in a heap.
And another hit on the other side of the play. Oh, and Beck's taking exception.
Oh my goodness, here we go. The temperature in the building continues to increase.
It'll be really interesting to see what the call on this. I believe it was initially going to be a penalty on Lawrence Tech. But I'm not 100% sure. That was a mess.
It seems like one of those post-whistle scrums that could take a while to sort out.
Absolutely. It looks like Lawrence Tech has one man in the box so far. Bodies were flying, sticks were flying. Nick Beck getting into it. You always love it when your goalie gets in.
And Beck's a fiery guy. We've known this from last year. He's not afraid to get involved.
Yeah, lots of fun stories from Nick Beck last season about his times in the net.
Jake Herberg will head to the box as well.
Looks like they might just take one from each here. Still some deliberations and lots of lumber on the ice. Sticks, bodies. Got a yard sale back there.
Sure looked like it, didn't it? So, Sean Pilot and Zach Zarecki having conversations with the officials. It's a 1-1 game with 6:18 to go in the second period.
Looks like another one to the box for Lawrence Tech here.
It'll be Liam Bland that'll head to the box. So Kent
and that
State,
sounds the horn.
Kent State looks like they could be headed to the power play here. We will await the decisions here.
Well, there's no questions about whether or not the crowd is into this game now. Still some discussions here.
It always does take a little bit longer when there's a scrum like this. You remember the John Carroll game, we had a few of these moments. The Toledo game, we had a lot of these moments.
And hey, coming up here, 2 games against Toledo, a home-and-home series.
Yes.
Next up on the docket for the Flashes.
In-state rivalry gets renewed. October 15th, the Rockets are coming to town to take on the Golden Flashes. That's going to be a game that you're not going to want to miss.
It's going to be a series of games you're not going to miss. Both
Absolutely.
those games could be pretty spicy if we see anything we saw last season.
So Zarecki is coming back to the bench to report what he has found.
And it looks like Kent State might be on the power play. Lawrence Tech still having some discussions with the referee. The referee's also talking to Nick Beck over here.
Yep, Nick Beck having a conversation with the linesman right in the circle there. And Poswick is going to be headed to the box, so it looks like we'll play at even strength. There is a penalty on the board for Lawrence Tech, however, so they could have picked up the extra minor in all the mess.
One just went up for Kent State. I have no idea what we got here. We're just going to have to wait for the official readings.
Long stoppage here.
Yeah, the discussions have moved now to the scoring table.
Finally have some players on the ice, though. It looks like 4-on-4 is what we're going to go with for 2 minutes.
Nothing else coming up on the board here. Looks like we will be 4-on-4 with just an extra offsetting.
And the referees will come explain this to Ken Gaffney, the head coach of the Lawrence Tech Blue Devils. My goodness, I didn't anticipate this taking this long, did we?
Well, you said it first. These generally take some time.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Could totally be my fault. Could have jinxed it.
That's fine. I won't hold it against you.
It's a very superstitious sport. What sport isn't superstitious, though? Are there any?
You know, I don't know a lot about soccer, but I know in pretty much every other sport, it's always something, whether it be like wearing a pair of socks.
Or like Sidney Crosby, I think, has worn the same jockstrap since junior hockey.
Yeah.
That's kind of gross, isn't it?
How does that even work?
I mean,
you'd think it would have, like,
ripped by now or something. I mean,
hey, maybe racing. Is racing superstitious?
Is racing? That's a good question. I'm sure they all have their...
I'm sure there's something.
I'm sure they've got their routines and everything. Oh, hey, there's hockey on. That's cool. Here comes Zach Zarecki down the left wing. Hemi able to take that away. Move it along. Looking for Stawinski. He's onside. Stawinski gets hauled down. No call.
Sounds like the extra penalty was for Nick Beck, roughing.
And that could make sense. Here is Zach Zarecki. He takes a shove. Drive toward the net. Swept away by Zach Barnes. Hemi in there. Under 6 minutes to go now in the second period. Zarecki tried to touch his way around Stawinski, could not. In there was Brian Ostershell. Good to see him back on the ice. Beck will leave it behind for Barnes. It's been a really solid pair, Ostershell and Barnes. Although here is Sean Pilot, who's got the Lawrence Tech goal, fires. Kneeling down to catch that one is Beck. We get a stoppage with 5:24 to go. 1-1 is your score. We'll play 4-on-4 for another minute and 6 seconds.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did not pick up all the penalties there, but it sounds like we got a whole host of penalties, roughing, cross-checking. You name it, they called it, but we've only got 2 penalties on the board.
Eric Podgorny. A lot of traffic in front of Beck. He was peeking around trying to find that puck that never came to him. Here is Sean Pilot. Pilot in a battle there on the boards. It's John Horn coming in to help. Horn gets hauled down by Zach Henry, the defenseman from Colorado Springs. Battle in the far corner for it. Continues to escalate, and now they do get away. Jack Kinsman. Kinsman stepped into, and he delivered the reverse check to Sean Pilot. Way to play through the body there by Jack Kinsman. Palmer takes a whack, trying to move it to Kilway. Puck is held in at the line. Here's Sample with a shot, kicked away by Beck. The rebound hit the post. And now the net is off the moorings. And now Horn getting into it behind the play with Kilway.
I think he's taking exception to getting hauled down behind the net when that play was kind of still forming.
Have to wonder how much of these battles are stemming out of frustration. In a game where it's 1-1, there hasn't been much space to work with. You've got to pretty much just pray for a lucky bounce for any sort of opportunity.
And not a lot of space. They're kind of reminiscent of some of those John Carroll games from last season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those two teams were absolutely locked in against each other. There was no free space, battling for every inch. And this just feels like one of those hard, grindy games.
David Rankin steps in, wins a face-off cleanly. Shot from Hemi was knocked down, controlled now by Barnes. 5 seconds till we're back to 5-on-5. This one touched across for Hemi. Sent along looking for Huberschmidt. Ostershell took that one and now moves it for Rankin. Ahead to Friedman. Here come the flashes in. Friedman dumps it off for Flora. Quick shot swallowed by Kroll. And he hangs on. J.S. Floric knotted his first collegiate goal, added a pair of assists over the weekend against Syracuse last weekend. Tied for the team lead in points with 3 with, of course, David Rankin, who scored a hat trick in that opening game.
Yeah, rookies have been good so far. We got to see if they can kind of keep their foot on the gas moving forward. Maybe this would be a good opportunity to see one of them step up and put one in.
John Horn takes a fortunate bounce the other way down the left wing. Nice hip check delivered to him by Donovan Palmer, but he appeared to take the worst of it. Tough angle shot from Horn. Squirts back out toward the right point and all the way back to neutral ice. Stawinski knocks it in. Palmer's back. He takes a shove. Puck works in front. Horn with a spinorama. And Horn cuts back again. Works it to the front. That's a great opportunity and a good save by Beck. And a chance from Josh Hickson. Horn in front, and that one somehow stayed out. Rankin trying to play it in. Goes diagonally. Kyle Holmes settles this one down. Got a little bit of time, but not too much. Sends it in, Friedman. And now Savay Thompson can dump it in. Dropping back now is Stawinski. Pass intended for Brendan Priest through center. It will be no icing, waved off as Priest won the foot race there with Poswick. Took a shot at him on the way back as well. Baxton does a good job to get that one out of too much trouble. Ian Kuntz. Sample sends it in. Knocked down by Beck with the goaltender paddle. Poswick couldn't get it out. Took an odd bounce off the dasher. Savay Thompson goes down hard. Looking for that puck. It's ping-ponging around. Priest with a shot. Glove down by Beck, and he takes a hit. He's under siege right now, Nick Beck is.
Yeah, tables are starting to turn a little bit more in Lawrence Tech's favor. They're starting to get a lot more sustained zone time. And a lot of that, I mean, how long was John Horn out here on that last shift? Seemed like he was out here for almost 4 minutes.
He was out there a long time, and he was making his presence felt the entire time, too.
Absolutely, you got to wonder what the secret is. 3 games in 3 days, and he looks like he's coming off a long break.
Kobe Greenberg did a good job to get that out of the zone. Whacked in further. Beck is just going to hang on.
Little snow shower there. Flash's defense did not like that.
That's Zach Barnes and Brian Ostershell, the #1 pairing. Seen a ton of them today.
Absolutely. I mean, talk about how long John Horn's been out there. Seems like those two have been out almost all game as well. Might be seeing a lot of them. This might be the new workhorses for this Kent State defense.
Of course, when you lose a guy like Bioni who played so many minutes, you need someone like that. Greenberg works his way in offside.
I mean, absolutely. How many minutes did we see Bioni out there last season? It seemed like he almost averaged between 25, 30 minutes a game.
Feel
like he's playing half a game.
Right, I feel like Justin Bioni would regularly play half the game.
Maybe we should be asking him what the secret is. Defense, it's not easy to play, especially for extended periods of time like that.
Now with the Carolina Thunderbirds, Justin Bioni. Dangerous collision with the boards right there for Blake Heyer, who went in. Now there's just a dog pile in the corner.
Yeah, Blue Devils are taking every little moment they can to take exception. I mean, he's pinned him to the ice for 10, 15 seconds, and they do not like that.
And this could get a little bit chippy now. That's Kobe Greenberg getting involved with Cole Therian.
Well, Kobe Greenberg, no stranger to the rough stuff.
Not at all. And now it's Eric Podgorny and Zach Barnes. No, Zach Barnes is over near the slot area. That might be Tommy Kilway that he was battling with in the corner. Yes, it was. Eric Podgorny's been fired up tonight.
Absolutely. And I mean, as I said, some of these, looks like the Blue Devils might be taking a little extra behind plays. You know, if they think guy can hold him down for a few seconds to try to get away with it, he's going to do it. They can get an extra shot, they're going to do it. Anything they can to continue wearing each other down.
Kobe Greenberg still having words with Cole Therian all the way to the penalty box.
A little bit of vintage Kobe Greenberg there. And the parade to the penalty box continues. Looks like they're taking one each again, but I've been wrong before. Oh, the two in the box for Lawrence Tech. I can't count the two, it seems, today, Gabe. I'm having myself an afternoon.
1-1's the score. Hopefully you're able to read that, though.
I'm just trying not to look that way, just in case. Numbers not my strong suit today, especially so.
How about Cooper Rush? He's 4-0 as a starter in Dallas.
Absolutely. How about that?
Central Michigan guy, some action. I don't know, another long stoppage. Why not talk about something else?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone was counting him out when he came out to take over for Dak Prescott. How about that?
25-10. Cowboys beat the Commanders today. 4-0. Dak Prescott gonna have a job when he's healthy?
Tell you what, you don't know. These are the questions.
Might just have to roll with the hot hand. It depends. Officials are still talking, by the way.
And so are we.
Yes, we are. Finding anything and everything we can.
Oh, let's see. We talked about the upcoming matchup here.
Yeah, how about we take a peek into the, let's say, further future.
Yeah, let's see if we can find the first divisional matchup here for the Flashes, as those are the games that matter the most in terms of playoffs.
Absolutely. You need those for playoff seeding. You need to win those games.
National championship this year, I believe, is in Boston. St. Louis last year.
First divisional opponent for Kent State comes on October 23rd at the Alpha Ice Complex in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania against the Duquesne Dukes. Split the season series with Duquesne last year, with each team winning on the road.
Really rough outing, that first game against Duquesne
Was
last season.
Stephen Delia scoring the overtime winner. I was just thrilled about that.
Yeah, that one was a bit of a hard pill to swallow, but it was early in the season. They're still getting their bearings, as we are here in this season, so another early season meeting. Discussions continue here.
And then, of course, November 4th, Mercyhurst comes to town. That was the senior day game last year.
At least for both teams. Oh, no, wait, no. Pardon me. Mercyhurst, they had their senior day the night before.
And it was a home and home, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. November's loaded with divisional games. Mercyhurst, IUP, John Carroll, West Virginia, Robert Morris, Duquesne again.
It looks like the first half of the season could be the definitive part of the season for the Flashes. So if there's ever a time to figure yourselves out and get the pedal to the metal, it's early.
And they're games that you want to win because I'll tell you what, the back half of that schedule is pretty loaded. You finish off the season with a road trip to Lawrence Tech. This team has played extremely well. 3 games in 3 days. You've mentioned it a couple times here. This has just been...
It's unheard of. I've never seen a hockey team play 3 games in 3 days.
It's pretty shocking.
I mean, hockey's not an easy sport to play, especially 3 days back to back to back.
They visit Lawrence Tech February 10th and 11th. And then it's a 2-game set against Oswego State.
We saw at the beginning of last season, and those games were not pretty.
No, they were not. Oswego State was nothing short of dominant.
But those are both very good teams, Lawrence Tech and Oswego. I believe Oswego finished in pretty close to the top 20 last season, if my memory serves me right. Flashes, I believe, were down in the 50s, 54, somewhere in or around there. I'd have to go back and have a peek.
And it really was the meltdown tournament, I think was the kind of the turning point for the season in terms of national rankings. You drop a game to Villanova, you drop a game to Niagara. Niagara's looking really good this year, I can tell you that. Of course, you take care of George Mason as Zach Barnes takes a seat in the box, and Flash's student section takes offense to that. We're still waiting here, a minute 46.
And now the officials are having a discussion amongst themselves by the scoring table. No idea what's going on here. And this game might only get rougher moving forward, so who knows how many more of these deliberations we'll see as this game moves along.
You remember back to the Toledo game last year, I mean, there was, I feel like 5 or 6 of these stoppages, these really long stoppages.
Well, if memory serves me correctly, there were 14 or 15 penalties in one game.
I think the two teams combined for well over 70 penalty minutes. That seems to be the number that sticks out in my head for some reason.
Yeah, if you combine both the games, there was a lot. Lots of penalty minutes, penalties for everyone. And penalties for Nick Beck tonight. You don't usually see your goaltender hitting the score table under penalties, but here we are.
And out of all of this mess, Lawrence Tech's going to end up with a power play.
I'm not even going to begin to try to understand where that's coming from. Still discussions in the Kent State penalty box. Although you say that's 4-on-4 out here by the looks of things. Oh, maybe not. Now it's 5-on-4. What an adventure in numbers this is for me today.
Sean Pilot was hiding from Chris over here.
I looked everywhere but right in front of myself. Which you hate to see.
5-on-4. Blue Devils have a power play, which
we'll see if we can get the call in the building here and see what's going on.
Play's back underway. That's good news. Zach Zarecki in a battle here. Bland tries to toss it to the front of the net. Beck sliding around. Puck never got anywhere near him. Horn. Drive that came from Pilot, and that's shrugged away by Beck. Awkward looking save, but he was able to take care of it.
That delay a game penalty is what has Kent State on the kill here. It sounds like a game misconduct for Kilway.
Interesting.
And a misconduct for Lawrence Tech. I missed who it was, though.
Eric Podgorny is the man that got the 10-minute misconduct. And that's a hand pass by Brian Ostershell. So not a game misconduct for Tommy Kilway, luckily. Sounds like just a 10-minute for both of them.
I heard 4 misconduct calls. I don't know if everyone in I don't know if it was delay a game on Kent State and then 4 misconducts or just 10-minute.
Could be.
That beats me.
Here's Horn. A cross in the drive that came right on from Hemi is swallowed by Beck with 1:08 to play in period number 2.
One of the unintended consequences of long pauses and things like this is it kills all momentum for either side. And it's almost like when you come back, you remember there's a game to play, and it just resets at 0. In this case, we'll see if the Flashes can overcome the momentum that Lawrence Tech had prior.
Sean Pilot, who has the goal tonight for Lawrence Tech. Couldn't touch this one along, and now it slides its way to Horn. Back to Pilot. Fakes it. The shot hit the post. Hemi's shot rings iron. Hemi gains the blue line, dumps it in. Backs out of his net to play it. He's just going to let it go. Holmes snaps it up and out. Beg your pardon, that's Zach Henry that was able to clear the line. Garrett Sample parks behind his own net with about a half a minute to play here in the second. Pilot drops it back off for Sample through center. Moving left to right. Sample, good play there to work the puck away from him, from Hunter Hillebrecht. Period of the long change nearly complete. 12 seconds to go. Snapped along. Kyle Holmes, it was just out of his reach. Brendan Priest sliding in as well, along with Nugan. 4 seconds to go. Puck in behind the Kent State net, and that's going to do it for 2. And what felt like the longest second period of all time finally comes to a close. 14 seconds are going to carry over.
Buckle your seatbelt for this third.
This third period has a lot of potential, folks, so don't go anywhere. Second intermission starts now. It's 1-1. Kent State and Lawrence Tech. Period 3, just about set to get underway back at the Kent State Ice Arena. Gabe Kalura, Chris Hodson. And this has been a really good game, hasn't it, Chris?
Yeah, really rough and tumble. Lots of bodies, lots of lumber flying, lots of penalties. Tight game. No
It is
free space.
I like what you said in the second. It's really reminiscent of a John Carroll game, this one. There is one carryover penalty this time. 14 seconds remain on a delay game penalty to Zach Barnes. So Lawrence Tech will have a 14-second power play to open the period and a face-off which they win. Stawinski will stuff it in deeper. At the point, John Horn. Horn working it down low. This is Hemi trying to get it back, and it gets away from him. Zach Barnes was fresh from the box. He'll put some pressure on Spencer Kroll here, who turns it over. Tried to move it deeper, but it was knocked away by Sean Pilot, who has the lone goal for Lawrence Tech. 1-1 the score, 19:31 to go. We have our first stoppage on an offside.
Flash's penalty kill has been very strong this game. They were really good there towards the end of the second, making sure that they keep the game tied, and they wrapped it up here pretty clean.
Neither power play has scored tonight for either team.
Flash's power play has never scored, it seems.
0 for 10 on the young season. Back to the point, this one comes to Ian Kuntz. It's knocked away from him by J.S. Florick, who couldn't quite corral the puck. Kneeing one down there was Mitch Poswick. Puck still loose at center, and now it's taken away by Heyer. Whacking at him was Herberg, but getting around him was Heyer. Heyer still with it. Survey is able to get it back to the point. Now it's Max Nugan down low. Nugan forced off the puck by Herberg. Coming in to help out was Poswick. A lot of right-handed defensemen on this Kent State roster. I think everyone but Donovan Palmer in this lineup is right-handed. Speaking of, here is Mitch Poswick. Poswick tried to slip by, could not. And now breaking out come the Blue Devils. It's Nugan. Coming along to help out was Zach Henry. Henry along for Greenberg, who tried to tip it out of the zone and was able to do so. But it's slammed in further now by Lawrence Tech. Flashes regroup. Henry. Oh, what a hit. Stepping into his man in a big way. Right there was Keegan Rundle. That was Zach Henry that took the hit, and he is hurt. And there is a delayed penalty behind this play.
I didn't see the full play, but it looked like a double team hit.
Henry took a huge hit behind the play from Keegan Rundle, and he will head off to get checked out here.
Yeah, hopefully it's nothing lingering.
And a penalty does come from that hit, so an opportunity for this power play that's been lackluster so far to shine. Hunter Hillebrecht can move it down low for Kinsman. He's closed off by Sample. Friedman lost it as well. Garrett Sample's got room, and he dumps it out as far as center. It was gloved down partially there by Poswick. They drop all the way back.
Calling the ice is interference.
Hit was a little late, and that's the call. Kinsman hands it off to Hillebrecht as they enter the zone cleanly. Around it comes to Friedman, takes a peek, works it back to the point for Poswick. Tried to let a shot go, it was blocked by Horn, and Stawinski's able to finish this one off and get it down. Fire wagon change behind the play. And a turnover, tried to get a quick up, going through center, and now here comes Kinsman. With a curl and drag, rips this shot that's blockered aside by Kroll. And back down, it's sent by the Blue Devils. Beck wants to get things moving, and he does. Ahead to Baxton, who slides by. Kyle Baxton, shot. Gloved down by Kroll, and he'll hang on.
A good puck-moving goaltender is always kind of a extra tool to your power play.
First Tristan Jarry reference of the season.
Absolutely. You knew we had to get one in, and here we are.
Excellent puck-moving goaltender for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Another good puck-playing goaltender is the recently retired Ben Bishop, was known for getting involved on power plays.
Ben Bishop, what a career.
Absolutely.
Ryan Ostershell plays catch with Kyle Baxton here. Pass was not in his wheelhouse, and they still hand it off. Rankin in the bumper position. They try to get it to him. Brendan Priest is able to steal this one away, and he moves in one-on-one against Ostershell. Trying to drop it off. There was nobody there. 30 seconds to go on this power play for the Flashes. Ostershell gives it along to Rankin, who races ahead. David Rankin. 3 goals in the first 2 games. And all 3 of those came in 1 game for Rankin. Now racing ahead is Higher, one-on-one with Ostershell. Good shot there, and a blocker saved by Beck. They've been going to his blocker side quite a bit. They scored that first goal, short side blocker. And that's been the most common place to take a wrist shot ever since. Penalty expires. We're back to even strength, 5-on-5. Quick up, it comes Zarecki with a blast. Caught up high by the 5'6" Spencer Kroll.
Yeah, we were wondering if his size was going to be any kind of factor in this game, and it really hasn't. He's played really large. He's been on top of it. He's made some really difficult saves. Hasn't been maybe as active as Nick Beck, but he's been there when he's needed to be, and that's really all that matters.
Kind of looks like Anton Hudobin in there.
A little bit. I believe Hudobin's 5'8", if I remember correctly.
Moving ahead, Pilot, quick shot, swept up into the mesh by Beck. And a whistle, and a stoppage.
One of the things you see with some of the smaller goaltenders is they're really aggressive and not afraid to challenge shots, challenge the puck, and they're often a lot more mobile in the net. You'll see bigger guys, again, to bring up Ben Bishop, who's a very, very tall guy. Didn't move a whole lot in the net, but some of the smaller guys, again, you mentioned Hudobin, lots of movement.
Gallo breaks in with Zarecki here, 2-on-2. Gallo is able to slide around Ian Kuntz. He takes a hit from behind, slamming one toward the net with Zarecki. That was a sneaky good chance. He took a big hit. Gallo works in tight. Puck is loose. They jam away at it. And it's finally located by Spencer Kroll. That's a really good chance for the Flashes. And it's held out. Don Beck says keep working. We agree.
Don Beck.
Shout out to Don Beck.
Don Beck, big proponent of the kind of home atmosphere here for the Flashes. Always here at every game, always making noise.
Could always use more people like him in the world.
Absolutely, and speaking of noise, we got our new student section in action here this afternoon.
It's really good. This atmosphere is really good, for especially for the opening game of the year. We're down to standing room only, it appears. Donovan Palmer trying to hold the line, cannot. Huberschmidt worked around him, but a good play made by Kyle Holmes. This one spiked along. Sample comes in, and he helps it out for the Blue Devils, who now control. Huberschmidt taps this one in as he gains the red line. He hands it off to Pilot, who gives it back to him. Palmer broke that up. Holmes tries to go around the boards. Baxton takes his shove. Here's a quick shot. Blocker saved by Beck. Another good reactionary save. He's made a lot of those today. Greenberg breaks this one up in the slot area. Trying to move it along, but he turned it right over. Shot on the net was blocked by Holmes, and here goes Greenberg. Kobe Greenberg, look out. Greenberg cuts in, fires, saved by Kroll. The rebound is loose, and it's corralled. Sent off the glass. Gillespie. Sent back in. Good play by Kobe Greenberg to swap possession there. And what was looking like a dangerously good shift for Lawrence Tech. Zach Henry's back out on the ice after taking that huge hit from Keegan Rundle earlier in the period. Hunter Hillebrecht hands this one along. Zarecki was just into the zone a little early. Everybody has to tag up. 1-1. 6 minutes have come and gone in the third. 14 to go. Zach Zarecki is able to step in, corral this puck on the far side. Hillebrecht trying to work it back in front. Controls it behind now and gives it to Zarecki on the near side. Zarecki turns, wheels. It is Hillebrecht coming in down the short side, works it in the slot. Kinsman a chance, and it's blocked away there by Spencer Kroll. Good work by this top line for the Flashes. Zarecki in front, chance there for Hillebrecht, bunted out of the air, the rebound somehow wouldn't go for Kinsman. Henry tried to force it right back to the net, it didn't go. In behind is Zarecki, works it in the slot for Kinsman. Hillebrecht slams one toward the net that just goes wide of the glove side. What a shift. And they still hold the line. Ostershell with a shot. It was blocked. And now it's Zarecki again. Henry able to move it down low. Just gassed right now. These defensemen are for Lawrence Tech. Kinsman's able to force another turnover. They change behind the play. Rankin still has it loose. Drops it off to Herberg now at the left point. Herberg holding, lets it go, and a save with the blocker by Kroll. He has no idea where it is. Hillebrand tried to bank it in, it wouldn't go, and he finally is able to get the freeze. What a shift for the Golden Flashes there.
Flashes there with some of the best chances, bar none, in this game. I have no idea how that did not go in. He had two guys wide open net and great defensive play from Lawrence Tech. Just barely keeps it out.
See if they can build off the momentum of that shift. J.S. Floric wins a draw clean. Friedman with a shot that changed direction. Kicked out by the right pad of Kroll. For the first time in what seems like many minutes, the puck is out of the Lawrence Tech end. And right back in it goes. Hemi goes around for Stawinski. Nixon pinned to the wall there by Herberg. To a side day battle for it. Now Stawinski comes in to help out. It squirts free. Friedman able to hand it off. Nice curl and drag by David Rankin. Rankin has a look. Fires and a save by Kroll. The rebound. He's able to corral it. No further play. 12:22 to go. Still a 1-1 game.
Yeah, Lawrence Tech might finally be starting to feel the effects of 3 games in 3 days. It's also worth mentioning that there are still 3 players in the box carrying over from the second period with those misconducts. I believe that they should be coming out here in the next 2 minutes.
Holmes able to give this one along for Palmer. Floric on the near wall. And it is Holmes again. Holmes near corner, trying to work this one out for the Flashes. Friedman is there in the other corner. They play catch. Flying in to deliver a check to him was Rundle. Big hitting forward. Rundle 5'9" from Evansville. Sophomore. Here's Bland. Quick shot swallowed by Beck. No further play. 11:41 to go.
And finally, the penalty boxes are empty for the first time since the end of the second period.
Just over 8 minutes in. Every play you make from here on out is so crucial.
The question on everyone's minds right now is what's it going to take to get past one or get one past Spencer Kroll?
He's looked like a complete brick wall so far, ever since surrendering that first goal to Zarecki. Ostershell using the boards to try and move this one out. It was just short of Baxton, though. Ostershell gets, or Barnes rather, got knocked down behind the play. There's no call. This one flutters wide of the glove side. Stawinski was going to step into a drive, but instead he'll corral it. A shot that came from Huberschmidt was blocked by Barnes. Baxton racing it the other way. Glove down, and now here is Pilot again. Pilot, oh, look at Gallo behind the play. Gallo pushing it. And student section gets fired up at that.
Yeah, plays are getting slowly more dangerous here. Looked like they went head first into the ice, and then good to see Barnes pop back up after he went head first into the boards behind the net.
Gallo's going to the box, as is Sean Pilot.
Yeah, it seems like the referee's motive here in the third is just take them all.
And that might not be a bad idea. You don't want to lose control of this game. A game that's already so close.
Right, you don't want to give an unfair advantage to the other team, so best bet, just take everybody, keep the game even. Unless something egregious happens, of course.
Gallo seems to be a bit flabbergasted that he's in the box right now.
He did go down pretty hard. I did not see the whole thing, so I cannot really comment on it. I only saw the aftermath.
And we don't have the luxury of instant replay here, so.
No, but it did look like he went down hard.
He did go down hard, absolutely.
Which, of course, as we know, Gabe, ice is hard.
It is indeed. 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. 11:08 to go in regulation. 1-1 your score. Goals belong to Sean Pilot and Zach Zarecki. Holding is the call on Gallo. Here's Greenberg. A lot of space out there for a guy like him to operate. and he's able to slide by. Greenberg twisting, surveys. Trying to work it back to the slot. Kobe Greenberg just does lose it now, and ahead comes Lawrence Tech. Cole Therian. His shot gets blocked. Kilway. The shot flutters from Sample. It's blocked by Barnes. Kilway tried to hit Greenberg, who was ahead of the pack. He needs a change. Both teams will execute a change. Sample sends it far side for Bland. Liam Bland closing in with a shot. It's in the net. Oh, my. Liam Bland let a shot go flying down the left wing. Beck got about 90% of it, but the other 10% is what carries it over the line. And Lawrence Tech reclaims the lead. It's 2-1.
Yeah, it'll take a lot of wind out of the building. It's a tough one to take, especially for Nick Beck, who's been so good.
Tough one to surrender. See what happens here. Big time shift coming up now. And now Liam Bland is able to slide right in. Sends one toward the net, swept away by Beck. That stays in play. Here is Jack Kinsman. Kinsman maneuvers his way by. Kinsman couldn't get around Horn, though. Tried the toe drag toward the inside. Liam Bland faking one way and going the other was Herberg. Bland with a saucer pass to Horn, who moves in, and a save by Beck, and he is run into, and he is down. And obviously you hold your breath here.
Yeah, Beck was expecting the shot, stuck a leg out to try to get in front of it, and Horn kind of cut into the crease a little bit, and they just made contact. Of course, you never like seeing goaltenders take contact, very dangerous. But he's up and he seems to be all right, which is a good sign. Fans, however, not a fan of that.
Looks like Horn will go to the box for goaltender interference here. So 4-on-3. Net comes off the moorings. Goaltender interference is the call. Made no effort to avoid hitting Beck.
That is true. I mean, there was no one else around, and he did cut into the crease a bit, which is not legal to enter the goaltender habitat uninvited like that.
So 49 seconds of 4-on-3 is what we're looking at here. And
well, if there was ever a chance to get one back quick, this is it.
Absolutely.
No better time for this power play to cash in either.
Hunter Hillebrecht going to take this draw. Jack Kinsman out there along with him, along with Zach Zarecki, the goal scorer, and Mitchell Poswick. Some deliberation as to where the faceoff's going to be, and it's going to end up on the near wall to the left of Spencer Kroll. Every shift keeps getting bigger. Under 10 minutes to go. Hillebrecht will take the draw with Heyer, and he wins it. Back it comes to Poswick. Surveys, dusts it off. Tries to give it along to Kinsman. It was deflected. Kingsman down low. Hillebrecht holds. Waits, gives it on over to Zarecki. Poswick, the return feed. Zarecki pressured, curl and drag, tried to work into the slot area. That puck does not get out. Holding the line was Zarecki. Chips it along to Poswick. Poswick goes down. Fans want a call, they won't get one. And this puck should get out of the zone, and it does. 15 more seconds of 4-on-3. No shots yet. Zarecki marches in. Takes it around down behind. Low to high, it comes to Poswick. Poswick fakes, moves in, lets it go, tried to go far side. Just went wide of the glove. Gallo fresh from the box. This is a 5-on-4 now. Sean Pilot is out there as well, scored the first goal of this game. And now he's got a breakaway. Here is Pilot in solo. Oh, Beck with the save! Took a hit earlier, and he gets the push.
With the toe. Caught that one just by his toenail.
That's a save that you might want to put in the memory bank. Nick Beck robs Sean Pilot, who was looking for his second. Flashes were trying to change. They will let Friedman off. Heyer will take a draw here with Gillespie. Heyer snapped it on net. How about that? Beck snared it. We'll have another draw. No time. Comes off the clock there.
He's just trying to keep Nick Beck awake with that one.
Sure looked that way, eh? Heyer nearly won a draw again. Ostershell dangerously corrals this one in front of his own netminder. 45 seconds to go on the power play. David Rankin carries ahead. Down the left wing. Rankin goes down, still with it. Takes a big hit there from Garrett Sample, and David Rankin is down. And I think we've got another penalty. And it is on Garrett Sample. David Rankin took a big hit. He's slow getting back to the bench.
And that's, again, not one you want to see, especially that's your leading goal scorer of the season so far, David Rankin.
So, 5-on-3 then.
You especially don't want to see guys coming down here, especially early in the season against a non-divisional opponent. I mean, essentially in the long run, this game doesn't mean a whole lot except for maybe bragging rights or a little fuel to the fire for the team.
That's a 5-minute penalty they've got on the board right now.
Mike got him for boarding.
This could be potentially game-altering right here.
See if we get the call here in the arena.
Looks like it's going to be a 5-minute boarding call against Garrett Sample. Rankin was already on his way down, and Sample took a step into him.
Well, the question is if he hit him in the numbers or not. They were both up against the glass.
It is going to be a 5-minute penalty. So 5-on-3 for 30 seconds here. And then they can score at will, should they choose. Poswick. Hillebrecht has Friedman in front. Sends it toward the net. It hit the outside. Friedman. 5-minute major for boarding is the call. Friedman goes down. Here is Zarecki. Surveys. Across to Friedman. Oh, he hit the outside of the net. Kinsman tried to work it back in front, and now it's Friedman curling. 5 seconds to go on the 5-on-3. Tried to work it down low to Zarecki. It's a foot race. Good positioning play made there by Cole Furian. Poswick. The battle for the puck continues. Friedman gets in there, shoving along. Puck still is loose, and John Horn is able to get it down. Friedman had an amazing look. Ostershell ahead to Barnes. The quick up. Friedman back across. Hillebrecht flies in. Couldn't corral the pass on what would have been an odd man rush. Now Barnes finds it. Works it back to the left point for Friedman. Friedman fakes a shot. Now it does take a shot, and it's swept away by Kroll. Barnes is down low. Goes to Kinsman. Kinsman back for Barnes. Barnes in front, tried to go to Hillebrecht. Couldn't squeeze the pass in. 3:45 to go on the power play, 7:10 to go in the game. 2-1 Lawrence Tech leads. Tommy Kilway motoring ahead. Kilway cuts to the net. Takes it around, tried to throw it back in front. Short side. Would not go, and back out to center it comes to Ostershell. Twirls. Ostershell gains the red line, dumps it in. Kroll wanted to come out to help. Can't play it along. David Rankin, who's right back out there, controls. Rankin. Gillespie. Just over 3 minutes to go on this power play. Barnes. Knocked down. Hauled down. No call there. That is shocking. Inadvertent contact. They deem. Priest, and now it is Zarecki. Zarecki is able to turn away from Brendan Priest and has a look. Gives it across for Kilway. Couldn't corral the puck cleanly. Now he goes further down low for Gillespie. Knocked along for Zarecki. Zarecki across. Kilway looked like he was thinking about letting it go before he even got it. And now here comes Priest. Brendan Priest is in solo. And a save by Beck. Beck dropped his stick there. Oh my goodness.
That was dangerous.
That could have been disastrous.
And he is still stickless.
He'll come out to get it now. Poswick. Bouncing puck comes to Friedman. Tries to hand it off to Hillebrecht, and he did. Hillebrecht slipped by. Hillebrecht with a shot kicked away by Kroll. Good positioning save there. Friedman back to the point for Poswick, and it just got away from him. 2 minutes to go on the power play now.
John Horn's still out here. I don't think he's stepped off since the major penalty.
Saucered ahead. Good one-touch pass, and Barnes was offside. 1:51 to go in the power play. 5:19 to go in regulation. 2-1, Lawrence Tech leads.
John Horn's still out there.
Does he ever come off the ice?
I'm pretty convinced he's just been out there the whole game now. The only time I haven't seen him is when I blink.
Kilway for Ostershell. Flashes need one here. What a momentum boost it would be for Lawrence Tech if they're able to kill off a 5-minute major without surrendering a goal. Rankin slips by. He's pinned to the wall there. But Gillespie is able to corral the loose puck. Tried to throw it in front. Ian Kuntz was there. Higher along there, collides with Gillespie. Digging for this puck on the near side. It does come free for Kilway eventually. Pinching up his Barnes to keep this alive. Eric Podgorny in there for Lawrence Tech. Picked free by Higher and sent all the way down as far as neutral ice where Ostershell gloved it down. Ostershell is in. Ostershell is hauled down, and back down this puck comes.
And here's a rare sighting. John Horn just went off for a change.
Ostershell chirping as he comes to the bench. Here is Jack Kinsman. Kinsman flying. Look at Jack Kinsman go. Wrap around attempt, wouldn't go. Back in front. Oh, Spencer Kroll. How did that stay out? Kinsman fires. Oh, it hit both posts. It didn't go. It did go. Jack Kinsman has tied it.
Lawrence Tech still in disbelief. They're coming to the bench like their arms in the air.
Wow. Third goal of the season for Jack Kinsman, and it couldn't have come at a bigger moment. 3:55 to go in regulation, and we are tied at 2.
And what a shot. Absolutely ripped it in there. Both posts in and out in the blink of an eye.
Sean Pilot is pleading with the officials right now at center ice. Not sure what it's about. But my goodness, did this building explode when that puck found the back of the net.
Yeah, not only that, I believe that's going to count as the Flash's first power play goal of this season.
It will. It will indeed. Man advantage number 1.
And it stays on the board since it was a major, so 28 seconds will stay on the clock.
And now could be just a potential move here by Lawrence Tech's coaching staff to try and kill some momentum, which the Flashes have picked up here.
Yeah, the discussing with the official right now whether or not the puck went in.
Not a reviewable play. Called a goal on the ice, and it will stay that way.
Yeah, we don't really have the capabilities of video review here in the arena, so the call on the ice is what goes.
Joey Gallo and Blake Higher at center ice. It's 2-2. Jack Kinsman with his third of the year. Poswick, broken stick. He's got to soccer it along. Him and Podgorny get into it behind the play. And a little bit of rough stuff continues.
We have the official with the arm in the air here.
Who's it going to go against here? I'm not sure how Poswick's stick broke. Oh, and now the official goes down. Podgorny is headed to the box. Oh my goodness. Look at this. What a moment in this game. And so.
And the pleading continues. They are not happy over in the Lawrence Tech penalty box.
It's been a chippy one. 9 seconds of 5-on-3 time.
And welcome to ACHA hockey, where you just never know what you're going to get.
Just feels so incredible to be back here in this arena. With these fans, with this atmosphere. Doesn't get much better.
Looks like coaching staff for both teams using this opportunity as like a pseudo timeout as the deliberations continue in front of the scoring table. Something we've seen a lot of today. In fact, I would say the word of the day might actually be deliberation.
I'd have to agree with you there. Discussions continue. 3:37 remains in regulation.
Referee is now giving the verdict to the scoring table. Looks like it will be 5-on-3 for 9 seconds. 3.5 to go in the game. This is a big moment.
Huge.
As if they haven't had big moments in the past 10 minutes. Every single moment getting bigger here as the clock winds down.
It was Jack Kinsman that let a missile go from the top of the circle.
And how about these rookies?
They have just been phenomenal, haven't they?
Yeah,
Mitchell Poswick has entered the penalty box here. Something to note.
Yeah, everyone was wondering coming into the season what to expect from these rookies. We haven't seen them play before, and thus far they certainly have not disappointed. In fact, been the leaders of the team early on.
Jack Kinsman has stepped in and just immediately assumed a first-line role, and he's playing very well under that first-line role. Of course, we had the highlight reel goal against Syracuse, flying down the left wing on the backhand from just a ridiculous angle.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of him. We've seen a lot of David Rankin here.
David Rankin, of course, the hat trick in that first game as well.
Absolutely, and then on the back end, how about that defense pairing, that first pair?
Ostershell and Barnes have been spectacular. So, not sure if every penalty's up on the board yet, or if the Flashes will, in fact, end up with another power play here.
Well, the referees are no longer at the scoring table. Just looks like, I don't know what they're doing. Lawrence Tech players having a chit-chat.
Well, Kent State and Adrian was scheduled to drop at 5:40. Not sure if that's going to happen. Division III, of course. And if there were ever a way to fire up this student section, it's to play this song.
As you said, 3.5 minutes left, assuming that that's going to be all it takes here. Plus a cut of the ice. I do not think this other game is going to be starting on time at this rate.
We got a Pump It Up remix, it sounds like. How about that? Well, it is 5-on-3 for 9 seconds. Hunter Hillebrecht is going to take a draw here. He won it clean, but it's whistled down. What's going on here? Had to send another man to the box.
Well, getting a little crowded in the Lawrence Tech penalty box.
Sure is.
In there now.
And this draw, Hillebrecht loses. So, look at that. Popped up right in the corner. Beck fielded it like a fly ball. Under 3.5 to go now. And another power play for the Flashes in what could be just a massive 2 minutes.
And it's 5-on-4 now as the 5-minute major just expired.
Minute and a half to go on the power play, 3 minutes in regulation. Racing ahead now is Hunter Hillebrecht down the left wing. Hillebrecht dips the shoulder, cuts back. Surveys. Wanted to go back down low, could not, knocks a man down, no call. They're letting him play now. Zarecki across. Holmes. Kyle Holmes gets it down low. Hemi knocks it down. Flying in to keep the line was Jake Friedman, and he did so. Down low, low to high, it's Kinsman. Back to the point. Friedman fires, tipped, and Kroll got it. It's loose. And frozen by Kroll. Zarecki goes down, and he might be injured.
It's kind of a blind blindsided hit. Obviously, players don't like it when you start poking their goalie. Always got to pay the price whenever the goaltender habits, and he paid it there on a bit of a blindside hit after the whistle.
Zarecki's skating under his own power back to the bench.
He's giving the Lawrence Tech bench a nice smile as he goes by.
Showing off the chicklets. Tie up. It comes back to Kilway. Kilway fires, it's blocked. Taking one for the team there with Sean Pilot, and now the puck escapes the zone. Kilway on the backhand, trying to just find some open space. Stawinski will send it all the way down. Kilway now. Ahead for Rankin. Rankin gains the red line, dumps it in. Back is Garrett Sample. Did not get a game misconduct for that boarding, just a 5-minute major. That's why he's back out there. Rankin. Rankin with a little saucer along for Gillespie, and the Flashes break in. Gillespie back for Ostershell, good find. Whips it and a pad save. Rebound Barnes. Back to the point, Ostershell diving, couldn't hold the line. It's gonna come all the way down to where Beck can play it. The penalty is going to expire. Back to 5-on-5 we go. A minute and a half to play in regulation. Kyle Baxton leading the charge ahead. Baxton fires from a tough angle. It was stopped by Spencer Kroll with the helmet. Looked like he got it with his noggin. Racing ahead now comes Lawrence Tech. Blake Heyer. Oh, what a play by Donovan Palmer. And ahead it comes for Baxton. Baxton drops it off to Palmer. Curl and drag back for Baxton. He couldn't quite control it. Sample steps into him. This is Liam Bland now for the Blue Devils. Diagonally it's played for Heyer. He's shoved there by Zach Henry. 1 minute to go in regulation. 2-2 your score. We get a whistle and a stoppage on an offside.
Boy, how this game has evolved since the first period. Really slow first period, lots of feeling out, and then utter dominance from Lawrence Tech for the remainder of that first period. Chippy second period, and now it's anyone's game.
Ian Kuntz sends it down. Donovan Palmer was just able to protect enough there. Huberschmidt couldn't corral it. 45 seconds to go, and now in deep it is Huberschmidt. Trailing the play was Hillebrecht. He took it away. Puck is still free. It finds Liam Bland. And now ahead comes Zarecki. Now it is Hillebrecht. Hillebrecht jumps toward the inside. Puck is still free. Works it in front just out of the reach of Jack Kinsman. What a play that would have been by Hunter Hillebrecht. 20 seconds to go in regulation. Ostershell tried to snap it ahead. Herberg. Have to think both teams might just be playing for OT now. Snapped ahead for Zarecki. 7 seconds to go. 5 seconds, and for the first time this season, we get bonus hockey. 2-2 at the end of regulation. 5 minutes of 3-on-3. You thought there was room on the 4-on-3s. Oh, baby.
Yeah, I bet you didn't see this coming at the end of the first period.
What a game this has been.
We've got everything. We've got hits. We got pretty goals. We got penalties. We got scrums. We got saves. You name it, we got it. ACHA hockey is back here at the Kent State University Ice Arena.
5 minutes on the clock. Won't get a fresh cut of ice, so it'll be a little rough out there.
Clock is already ticking down. I wonder if they're getting a 5-minute break here or what the move is.
Should be. So a 5-minute little mini intermission here between the third and overtime. That gives us a chance to reflect on what we've seen so far. And it's just more of the same. I mean, Nick Beck's been spectacular.
As always.
As always. I mean, the shot by Liam Bland that just beat him, he got most of it. Jack Kinsman's had a spectacular game. He's been very noticeable, as is Brian Ostershell. If we want to just keep talking about these rookies. I mean, Ostershell has looked spectacular playing on that top pair. Overtime becomes a period of the long change. Looks like the Flashes are going to start with David Rankin, Hunter Hillebrecht, and Brian Ostershell. So Zach Nowak trusting his younger players here. As for Lawrence Tech, they're going to go with Blake Heyer. They're going to go with Caden Hemme here, as well as Cole Therian. 5 minutes, 3-on-3. Golden goal, next one wins it. bonus hockey's underway. David Rankin works right in. Rankin was tied up. And now ahead it comes for Therian. Got to fall back. 2-on-1. Therian one-on-one with Ostershell. Diving play by Brian Ostershell. Picked up by Rankin. He'll take a break. Gives it back. Couldn't quite be controlled there by Hillebrecht. Ostershell. Flash is playing a lot in their own defensive end here early in overtime. Ostershell shoves his man down. No penalty for interference there. Rankin races ahead now. Bouncing puck through center. Knocked down by Bland. Ostershell's been out there a long time. 2-on-1. Drive. Back to save. Puck still loose. Ostershell gets it out of trouble. Racing ahead is Jack Kinsman. Jack Kinsman in solo! Stopped there by Kroll. The rebound wraparound chance didn't go. Zach Zarecki drops back now. Kinsman through center. Kinsman, curl and drag, couldn't get by Sample. Kicked to be held in by Henry and then whacked out of the air by Nixon. Nixon turned it over to Kinsman, who flies by. Kinsman couldn't quite corral the puck. Down low, two aside, they battle for it. Zarecki's in there along with Kinsman. It's taken away here by Bland. Liam Bland will just drop back. Flashes will change behind the play. Always a risk here in overtime. Here is Hemi. Hemi cuts inside. Greenberg got a piece of him. Hemi with a shot, flutters wide. Zach Barnes, you got Greenberg breaking up the ice. Barnes was tied up, and now Kobe Greenberg. Greenberg reverses field. 3 minutes to go in overtime. Barnes elevates. Kinsman needed a change, was trying to get right off. Here is John Horn. Racing after him is Greenberg. Horn takes a check in the corner. Horn again, works in front, and a save by Beck.
Well, it certainly can't be understated anymore, the play of Kinsman all over this overtime period.
What an opportunity Jack Kinsman had flying in on a breakaway.
And then, of course, who else with the chance for Lawrence Tech than John Horn?
Face-off kick back, Sample with a shot, goes high. Ostershell finds it in the corner, touches it along to Kilway. Greenberg standing at center. The pass, diving was Greenberg, and now it's Sample with a shot. Goes wide of the net. Greenberg lost his stick, picks it back up. Far corner, held here by Heyer. Blake Heyer works in front. Curls, gives. Nugent, 2:20 to go in overtime. 2-2, Greenberg shoves a man from behind, gets no call there. Nugent works it in front. The opportunity cutting down low for Huberschmidt was knocked away. Trying to reverse the ice there was Ostershell back for Kilway, and he was able to do so. Huberschmidt and Greenberg racing after this puck. Greenberg does get it along to Kilway. Flashes can change, at least partially. Kilway the backhander, and it didn't go. Huberschmidt looking for this puck. It's at his skates. Kilway was unable to change. He's going to be pretty tired. Nugent coming into the zone. Power move with a save by Beck. He got the rebound too. 90 seconds to go here in overtime. 2-2 the score. Nugent in front. Beck denies him the pass. Huberschmidt still for Lawrence Tech. Battle right near the Blue Devils bench. They'll change smartly behind this play. Rankin keeping his eye on Sample. Referees want him to move this puck. It's been there for quite some time now. And finally they do get it loose. And right back to the corner we go. Picking it out is Hillebrecht, and 60 seconds to play. Zach Henry. Henry racing ahead. Henry down the right wing. Henry curls, fires it in front, and a save by Kroll, and he froze. So.
Interesting move to hold it. I don't think he wanted the whistle there based on how we kind of looked at the ref afterwards, but that's going to give the Flashes an opportunity to get who they want on the ice with an offensive zone opportunity.
And to no surprise, it's Jack Kinsman along with Zach Zarecki.
The surprise of absolutely no one in the building.
Face-off won by Lawrence Tech. That's a big defensive zone draw. Zarecki pins Sample to the boards. 40 seconds to play here in overtime. Kinsman gets to this loose puck. Sample, now they battle for it. Zarecki wins it. He's got Palmer at the point. Zarecki hands it off to Kinsman. Kinsman tried to cut inside. It's knocked down. Palmer finds the loose puck first. Good play by Donovan Palmer. Back down it comes to Sample. Kinsman hurries him along. And now a 2-on-1 the other way for Lawrence Tech. 15 seconds to go. Touched across. Here's a quick shot, and he never got any wood on it there. The Cole Therian shot. 7 seconds to go in overtime. Back to the point. Hemi lost it, and we will need a shootout to decide this one. We're going the distance here in Kent.
The first home game of the season is not disappointing. Living up to all of the hype here on homecoming weekend. Wouldn't want it any other way.
A little bit of sportsmanship there at center ice. Spencer Kroll and Nick Beck with a little fist bump as they make their way to their respective benches. 2-2. Shootout coming. Someone's got to pick up this extra point. Not that it's a point system, but we'll go with NHL rules. How about that?
Well, one way or another, somebody's going to win the game.
Absolutely.
It might take all night, but somebody will eventually put this one to bed. And while it might not necessarily, as you said, it's not a point system, and this doesn't necessarily help either team in the grand scheme of their divisions. I mean, how big would it be to topple a giant like this Lawrence Tech team if you're, this kind of new flashes team trying to feel out the early season? That's got to be a big booster, especially when you're going to play an in-state team that you have a little bit of history with.
Absolutely would be a confidence-building win here for the Golden Flashes. You say Lawrence Tech is a giant. You're not kidding. This is a very good hockey team. John Horn will shoot first for Lawrence Tech. Here we go. 3 shooters each. It's Horn, it's Beck. Simply put, it's good on good. Who will get the best of this one? Horn, sweeping in, swings it wide, cuts back, and scores. John Horn goes blocker side. And 1-0 Lawrence Tech takes the lead in the shootout. Spencer Kroll now 1-on-1. Zach Zarecki, the first shooter for Kent State. Zarecki has 1 in this game. Swinging it wide. Zach Zarecki. Stopped by Kroll. Big save. And now a real chance to put some pressure on Kent State for Lawrence Tech here. Blake Heyer is going to be the shooter. Heyer moving in with speed. Shot it, and Beck got a piece. Big save by Nick Beck. Jack Kinsman's going to be the second shooter for Kent State.
And why not?
Makes sense. 1-0 Lawrence Tech leads this shootout right now. Jack Kinsman picks it up. Pretty straightforward approach here. Kinsman stopped by Kroll. And Lawrence Tech can escape with a win here if they score on this next shot.
Yeah, it looks like he was trying to get a little bit of a head fake in and try to beat him 5-hole. Just didn't get it where he wanted it.
Liam Bland, who scored the second goal of the game for Lawrence Tech, has a chance to send him home with a victory. Swinging it wide left. Bland, stopped by Beck. Need a goal here, and it's going to be David Rankin.
For all of the cabbage, as they might say.
This one is for everything tonight.
Or at least the opportunity to go one more round.
David Rankin to extend the shootout. Stopped by Kroll, and the Blue Devils of Lawrence Tech survive here in Kent. Final score here at the Kent State Ice Arena in a shootout. Lawrence Tech defeats Kent State 3-2. For my partner, Chris Hodson, I've been Gabe Kalura, signing off.